So we had a bunch of questions about how we've brought our chapter at BU together over the last year and had some great success with building our chapter and running some really exciting events. So we just wanted to give you guys a few ideas and tips on how we got started and putting things together and building a strong chapter. So I guess starting off last year, Lara and I had been planning to start the chapter in September, and we went to Broad Advantage in LA. And that was really the beginning of it all. We kind of started really practicing talking about 85 Broads. As you guys know, it's kind of hard to put into words exactly what we do and all the benefits you can get out of the network. So we started working with things even like the language. We started earlier today with what is 85 Broads, and even just because of the name, as you start going around talking about your chapter and building it across your university, you're going to get a lot of questions. First of all, what's with the name? So remember that story about 85 Broad Street and where we started off with Goldman Sachs and Janet Hansen. And then we started kind of building our elevator pitch about what the group is about. It's a global network of women internationally, 17,000 women internationally across all disciplines. So that's something you want to explain a lot and kind of a lot of what the benefits are, or all the women you can meet through the network.
Another key step that we took in creating our language with 85 Broads was reading through all of the short biographies in the book that they gave us at the beginning of the week, to the point that we had little tags on the sides, we were highlighting it, writing notes in the corners, just so that we really understood what do we want to get across, because there's so many different types of women that they talk about in there. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but they go through givers, adventurers, ambassadors, professional women too.
Parents.
Parents. It's a very wide group of people. So it's a great way to get a grasp on, well, what are we trying to communicate, and who are the women in this organization, especially such an elite group of women that are in these books, in the book, and it's a really great way to get started in understanding.
So coming back to BU, we started to reach out to some of the girls who we already knew had an interest. We had a really targeted group. We just logged right onto 85 Broads. We didn't have a BU chapter, so we were just looking for women from BU who were already 85 Broads members. Can we show them where we could look for that?
Yeah, sure. Something's happening here.
So basically we drafted an email, and so it's really important from the very beginning, just collaborating on everything and making sure you brought in, well, from the beginning it was just us, our different perspectives, and go through the email together and read it over and make sure it's really perfect before you're sending it out to these 30, 40 girls that we were asking to join us in building a chapter, and invited them to join. And we had about 35 people, I think, at our first meeting. And we put together a presentation for them with things, even just like pictures from Broad Advantage in LA. And that's just one example of something we had gotten out of 85 Broad so far, and other events and opportunities, and then kind of opened up for discussion and brainstormed some ideas of what people at BU specifically were looking for, because that's one of the great things about this organization, is that they're so open to flexibility and catering it to your campus and what the girls at your school specifically are looking for.
Mm-hmm. And also, a very important tool to use, and I believe it's open to any board members, is the community admin. So you can go in here and you can export the list of all of your members. Something we did also was we sorted it. We made 2 lists in Excel, one of undergrads and one of alumni, and we decided to treat them separately in the beginning because they are very distinct audiences in some ways. For instance, we didn't want to be sending our alumni like a bi-weekly meeting reminder because most of them could not make it. So that's why we decided to deal with them separately at first, and that's just something to consider also. This is also where we sent our emails out of, especially the first one where we were just letting everyone in our network know we exist, and please let us know if you're interested in becoming an active part of it, and we're very open to it. So actually,
pull it up, right?
We should be able to see.
I guess we still have our very first emails
or maybe
right here.
It was, maybe the.
So,
all right, so this is the one about our first meeting. We had just received so many responses from everyone, and it was really great. And we also used this as an opportunity to announce the Harvard Undergraduate Women in Business Conference. And that was actually the first time that we got a lot of us together going out somewhere. We all said, let's meet at this tea stop at this time in the morning, and that'll be a great way to find out who are all of the girls from BU going to it, because if you have been to it, you know it's over 400 women from everywhere. So once you're there, it's very hard to find each other. But that was just a good way to start with introductions in the morning. And we also just discussed opportunities that we were going to have, and I
forgot that was even our first event, the Harvard Women Business Conference, and they've been running this conference for years. It's a huge event, but really easy. All we did was say, meet us at this tea stop. I believe it was free because Lara had found on one of the monthly 85 Broads broadcasts an opportunity to invite 20 people. There were 20 spots that 85 Broads had offered for free to go. So we got all of our girls to go for free. We met at the tea stop, took the tea over, and then pretty much networked and split up and did our own thing in the different meetings that they had or the workshops they were offering, and just enjoyed the conference together and kind of gave a lot of our girls a great experience like this that they wouldn't have known about, and it was pretty easy to organize. So those things can be great starting points to get your girls together.
Yes, that's definitely something I do every time one of the broadcasts comes out. I read every little detail because just there's so much great information in it, and if you don't read closely, you can miss an amazing opportunity. So it's a great place to start with ideas. So this is the first email that we sent out. We just introduced ourselves, said where we were from, what our goal was, and we also explained a bit about 85 Broads, because even though there are some people on the network, they didn't maybe understand all of the history to it also, so that's why we wanted to introduce that. And this is also when we mentioned that we wanted to go to WIB and that we were recruiting for the first board. And for the first board, because it was just the two of us starting as campus interns, we decided to elect them by resume. So we actually had a huge response, and it was really hard actually to do that. So for this next year, though, now that we have a pretty significant group, we did have voting for this year, and we do have a board set for this fall.
Yeah, and we had put together an undergrad board and then also an alumni board, which is something we're really still trying to build and bring that part of our group in, get feedback from what we can offer alumni, how we can bring in alumni to our events, maybe have a networking event where we have 85 Broads undergrad and then BU alumni, women just all come together, something like that. A couple things after that, we did a speaker who had gone from a small liberal arts school to working with AOL to being an entrepreneur. So he just came in and talked. That was a pretty small group. We had 10 or 12 people. I think it maybe snowed that day or something, but he was really excited to be there, and it was a small target group. We had some great discussion and questions, a lot of the kind of stuff we're doing here.
We also did some team building activities. Actually, the first week that we had our board set up, we all went out to dinner just to get to know each other, and I found that it was extremely important to make sure that we all got along and were open and honest with each other about our ideas, and I think that was really key to having a smooth year, especially going through these events. You get so busy, and it does get stressful, and there are times when big problems come up and you have to solve them together. So it was really important to have done those things in the beginning, just becoming friendly and getting to know each other. And we also did that with the whole club when we had a fondue party. And we actually just had it at my apartment because we were still, I think we had about 10 or 15 people at that time.
I think
so
we weren't even official. We weren't official yet in our first semester. We couldn't book rooms. We didn't know. We couldn't have really anything but a meeting.
So there are just some creative ideas that you can use to build the sense of community. And I think that's the most important thing, making it informal in the beginning and saying we're just here to help each other and learn about these industries that are so overwhelming. And it's just a great way to feel like I can ask these people anything. And I found a great way to do that was just to, be silly and dip strawberries in chocolate and have a good time. So.